And welcome to, I guess it's still rabbit holes and bunny quotes. Is it? I don't know. Doomer's still MIA and kind of still just winging this myself. So it's just going to be me. The other half may join me if she feels so inclined. Do have somewhat of a voice of reason involved in this. And I'm just going to be drinking after the six pack of um, Modelo's I had, Jinro Plum Soju, which is basically South Korean sake. It's a little sweeter. This is flavored, of course, with plum. But the first time I had soju was at a sushi place we used to go to, and the guy was South Korean and really interesting, nice guy who owned it, and he actually brought a bottle over for us because we all became kind of so close. And he explained to me the difference between them and stuff like that, and let me try it, and I was pretty much like hooked on it. So let's see how good this stuff is. Actually, a funny story between that too was that the guy's name was wow, like Doomer's old story. Call me Daniel. No, call me David. Like, no, he wasn't that bad. I think the guy's name was like David or something like that. Peter. That was his name. His name was Peter. Super nice guy. But I remember we talked about it, and I had asked him because of one of my, me and Doomer had explained years ago. I used to know a kid from Israel named Benny, and we would chit chat, and he explained to me the reality versus what we saw on our news, and that really is one of the things that made me start questioning a lot of things. And I remember I had asked Peter, I said, what is it like? Is it really as hostile as they say on the DMZ? Like, North Korea and South Korea, and they're at each other's throats. And he goes, no. He goes, don't listen to anything they fucking say. He said, there are times where I'll see something on the news and I'll call my mom and say, is everything okay? Are you guys okay? Do I need to do anything? And she'll go, what are you talking about? And it's just like anything else. It's hammed up. It's hammed up for ratings and clicks and advertising and all the things you could possibly imagine it's hammed up for. Um, and you know what? In the grand scheme of things, too, when it comes to over there, I don't. One of my very very best friends is over in Greece right now. So that's another long story, but he's over there for the summer enjoying himself with family that he reconnected with. And about a year ago, when we were having the wildfires over here, I remember he had told me everybody over there was calling him. The wildfires in California, mind you, and everybody was calling him and asking if he was okay. Now, mind you, we are in New England. And he goes, what are you talking about? And they said, well, we've been hearing about the wildfires. And he's like, that is on the other side of the country. Do you guys not understand how big the United States are? So, anyway, on with that. Jinro. Jinro Plum Soju. Let's see how this is. This brings me back to my old days with my buddy Fred, who I'll probably start doing this with every now and then again. Um, and we used to do something called Six Beers In a long time ago, where one of us, oh my God, this smells amazing. Um, One of us would pick up something. It was called Six Beers In because, I mean, the name speaks for itself. And one of us would pick up something to bring, and we would taste test it, describe it, we'd do a little bit about it, and then we'd get about the show. And it really did deal with the same kind of bullshit, society, politics, and conspiracy. Because oddly, that's what me and all my friends are into. So, holy shit, this stuff, Jesus, smells great. Um, that is pretty good. That is 13% alcohol, so it's like, wine. I mean, it is a wine. Aftertaste is kind of a little chemically, but it's plum. So, it could be that. Neutral spirits with natural and artificial plum flavors. Yeah, the smell is great. Texture is fantastic. Very, very smooth. Not that I'm like a sake or any kind of alcohol connoisseur, um, but the uh, the initial hit is really nice. The aftertaste, little tiny bit medicine-y. So that's why I'm not really into a lot of flavored stuff. Now, again, I don't know if I have to say this. I didn't, not again, because I never prefaced it the first time, but um, I am not paid or endorsed by anybody. I don't know if you have to say that. Um, but I am enjoying this out of my Kingdom Hearts shot glasses. Because, yes, I am a giant Kingdom Hearts fruit. You know, it's really good. I would definitely recommend this. I think it cost me like $7 for this bottle. It's, I don't know where the ounces are. Whatever, but it is not bad. I can tell it would probably give you a major hangover if you were to overdo it. So anyway, getting onto the topics, some of the things I wanted to chit chat about, whereas as you can see is fructose is up. Um, you know what, I learned something today. Let me go into my Gap profile. I actually just, on a whim, decided to do a little searching and learn something. Now, granted, how accurate this is, don't know. Oh my God, where is it? Oh, there it is, right there. So apparently, on web rate, which I am unfamiliar with. Oh, did it go down? Nope, it's the same. My website has a value of $40,400. So if there are any bidders and they're interested, hey, let me know. Chances are I probably will not sell it anyway because I'm that much of an arrogant prick. I would just like to see it take off and become an annoyance to everybody more than the money is worth to me. So anyway, going into this, I wanted to talk a little bit about the issue going on in the Netherlands right now with the farmers and how much it really reminds me of when me and Doomer were talking about Canada and the truckers. Now, mind you, Canada and the truckers was about COVID and control, and this is about, you know, climate change and control, you know, CO emissions. So basically, the Netherlands has this. You know, let's go into something. I don't really remember all the links. Netherlands. Let's see. Let's go. I did find a good video on this though, so I'll play it at the end. But here's something that me and her were watching from Tucker the other night. So let me see if I can play a little bit of this just to give people the gist.
What exactly is this about, and what do you think that it means?
Well, very simple, Tucker. What this is about is the Dutch government stealing our farmers' land. And they're doing this under the guise of a made up nitrogen crisis. And that is basically going to put most of these farmers completely out of business. And thankfully, the Dutch farmers aren't having it. So they're going out on the streets, they're blocking distribution centers, they've blocked the high roads, they are fighting back. And they're right to do so. This is their life's work. They're really at their wits' end. They're devastated by what the government is doing. And, well, it's very clear that the government is not doing this because of a nitrogen crisis. They're doing this because they want these farmers' land and they want it to house new immigrants.
So I don't know how much of that's true, but if anybody has actually followed anything me and Doomer talked about in the past, and mainly stuff that I brought on information wise, is um, the the acceleration on the idea of lab cultured meat and lab grown meat and cloned meat. So they basically, if you think about it like the title of this says, if you control the food, you basically control everything. And they're trying to grasp as much control over anything food related right now that they possibly can. And when I say they, I mean, of course, you know, the WEF, the governments that are involved in this. And I don't point to any side as like, it's the left, it's the right, it's both. You know, people ask me all the time, like, do you really, and this will probably get this channel banned, but whatever. We're on Rumble too. Everybody always asks me, do you think the election was really stolen? Yes. And then they go, do you think that the Democrats could really pull that off? And I say, no. I said it wasn't. It wasn't just one side. It was the Democrats. It was a lot of Republicans. It was a lot of elitists. And it was pretty much the rest of the world that, you know, didn't like the idea that America was no longer, towing the globalization line that previous administrations had started putting forth. Um, and if you think about it, we just had the ex prime minister of Japan who was very nationalistic, as if I recall. I don't remember a lot about him. I know his face very, very well, but I'm fairly positive he was pretty much very nationalistic. He was very pro Taiwan, Hong Kong, very pro America, and keeping you know, those ties strong. And then he, I guess, was going to run again and got killed, which nobody thinks is ironic or funny or, well, not funny, haha, but um, just a little bit um, coincidental, suspicious. Like, there's so many words you could use. It just seems. Anyway, going back to this, basically the big, huge push. If I'm sure many people have heard that, Bill Gates is the largest owner of farmland now in the United States, and that's not a joke. I mean, he's legitimately buying up as much farmland as he possibly can, and it's not to use; it's just to keep other people from using. So it's just going to basically be sitting there. Now, when they do that, that's when they're going to also set up these um, lab grown meat plants, where I think I talked about it on the last show, actually, if you go back and look at it, where they're basically going to make a giant stainless steel fermenting tub, drop some fetal tissue in there, and feed it some kind of weird amalgamation of proteins, and it's just going to be a giant piece of tumor meat that is going to supposedly feed the world. Very strange. Does not seem appetizing. I'll use the word. I don't know if it's safe or not. Doesn't seem appetizing. I really don't want to be cutting off a giant piece of tumor and then eating it. And then, in the grand scheme of things, I can't see how you'll get anything but ground beef from this. Like, you're not going to form a perfectly nice ribeye with a bone and a nice piece of grizzle and fat and marbling, or like, you're not going to get a steak. Everything's going to be fucking ground beef. Like, that's it. If it's any kind of cut of meat, it's going to be formed to look like that. It'll basically be like when you're a kid and you'd take the different color fucking Play-Dohs and then do the fun factory. Oh, look, I made a steak. And pretend to eat it. I mean, that's literally what our world has come to. And so many people are openly accepting this, that they're going to perpetually remain children eating Play-Doh fun meat. I don't get it. So there was another good video in here that explained a lot of it too. And unfortunately, I had a bunch of other stuff to do before I started doing this. So I didn't get go through my links again and organize it all. I'm just opening up the chat window for YouTube because last week I missed somebody's chat and I thought it would have actually been pretty good. So, and hopefully the other half is going to come down and join because I'd really, she watches a lot of this stuff. Of course, not as in depth as I would be. Somebody has to be reasonable, I guess. But it would be interesting to get a second point of view here. Whoop. Let's do that. So, I don't know if I close this window, if I'll close out the chat. I don't think so. So, anyway, and you know what? If there's a little bit of stuttering in anything, I'm recording at the same time. I might just upload the recording later. I'm doing this live mostly for any kind of chat that happens. That's good stuff. So, this one was a really good video, this bottom link. So if anybody wants to go there, this one was something completely different. And what's this one? Oh, this one, no video. So, why don't we go back to the Tucker video for a minute?
They also want it because the farmers are obviously standing in their way of the great reset plans that they have for us. So, yeah, farmers are hardworking, God fearing, and especially self sufficient people that are just standing in the way of their globalist agenda. And it's driving a lot of these farmers even to something like suicide. So, really, there's only one term that we can use for the things that our government under Premier Mark Rutte is doing right now, and that is communism.
You know, there's something else that I just clicked on my head right now, and that sort of relates to this, and it's something that doesn't get any kind of press, and actually almost gets anti-press, as if it's not happening. But I've actually watched a lot of material on it, and even talked to a few people firsthand that described quite a bit of it, that had experience, and that is the I mean, I guess you'd say it's the South African white genocide, where they're attacking farmers, and the newer government, I forget the guy's name who runs it, is basically confiscating the land. Now, I don't think they're allowing this to happen because the people who are confiscating the land are actually going to be able to run it. I think it's the same principle. It's like, why do we have to go in here and do anything like we're doing here in the Netherlands or even in the United States, when we could just kind of let this whole situation take its course and it'll just do what we need it to do anyway. So the more food, I don't want to say distribution because that's probably the wrong word, but let's just say the more agriculture and the more livestock and things along those lines that we take out of the people's hands directly, and then dissect and break down, where else are you going to turn? You're basically, like I said, you're going to be eating giant gooey tumor meat, or bugs. There was actually a very interesting video I saw, um, and it's actually older, of this big, because there was another big thing, was the bug push, and basically they want to use insects as another source of protein, which is fine. I've tried it. I've eaten like fucking crickets and stuff like that, dried out crickets, and it's a niche thing. Like, ooh, look at me, I'm eating a cricket. That's really all it is. Like, ooh, I'm eating a mealworm. But it's not something I want to make my everyday thing. I mean, that's just stupid. Um, Jumping around. I should have had this probably loaded up beforehand. So let me go back to the chat window. Something else that sort of spooked me on this.
Dun, 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 dun.
As the kind of shift and change.
Oh, God.
Hornworms. They're eating micro. My hidden talent.
It's not a talent. Eating bugs
my
isn't
hidden talent. Eating micro livestock. Hornworms.
It's not a talent.
They're
Not everything is a talent. All right? I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. A couple of years ago, due to some friends and stuff like that, I ended up at like I guess you'd say a pride convention, and that's another thing that's going around in the news today, is this onset of like almost imposing the lifestyle on people and imposing it on youth and younger generations. And I could say, before this even went mainstream, I saw it firsthand, and it was right here in my state. And I went to this, it was supposed to be a fair, but it was during COVID, so it was rather empty, I guess is the word. There wasn't a lot of people, but there was enough people. And people brought their kids, which I was like, okay, that's strange in its own. But then they decided to host a talent show, and I was like, oh, cool. But somebody I knew was like, is a musician and had a band, so technically I thought like that was the talent show, but I guess they had already gone on, so that perplexed me to begin with. But the talent show basically consisted of a whole bunch of drag queens coming out and lip syncing to things like Britney Spears. And this is before it really started hitting anything mainstream. Kids were giving them money. And now granted, if it was all adults, I would have been like, okay, this is kind of cute. But I was looked at even the people I was with and was like, this is weird. And even they looked at me back and were like, yeah, I'm not quite getting the idea. And that irked me. But the thing that irked me more than anything, was lip syncing is not a talent. So that is not something that you can put 12 people together and say it's a talent show. So eating bugs is not a hidden talent, you dumb bitch. You know, I'm sorry. You know, if anybody wants to have an interesting read about this woman's dad. Read about the stuff that her dad was involved in. And then, you know what, if you really want to, go watch Eyes Wide Shut, which somebody dragged me to the movies to see, and I thought was complete and utter shit. I think Stanley Kubrick is extremely overrated, but then again, I'm not also a film aficionado, so I don't. But Clockwork Orange, I read the book, it was fine. Watched the movie, I don't know, thought it kind of sucked. The Shining, I love. I really do love The Shining, but I don't think it's any kind of like masterpiece. Eyes Wide Shut, garbage, just complete and utter garbage. But read about her dad, go watch Eyes Wide Shut, and then you kind of make those connections.
Still alive.
You know what? Why do they have to still be alive? Can't you cook them? You fucking reptile. There's no reason to eat them alive.
Extraordinary.
It's not extraordinary. I've eaten bugs.
Very
They taste
moist,
like nothing.
Chewy. Can't quite describe the flavor, but let's try this. 2 billion people in the world eat bug. I'm one of them. Here we have.
Yeah, you know, definitely a reason Tom Cruise ran. He's a weird motherfucker to begin with. And if he bailed, there's really something weird about you. It's like Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt finally, you know, God knows how long ago, took off from fucking Angelina. And now there's this video that comes out about her talking about the Illuminati and some weird sex rituals that she was in.
Oh.
At least the crickets are dead.
Nothing. Like a hairy nut.
Oh, you're selling that to me. Yep, that's something that I want to trade a nice juicy steak for. Hairy nut. If that was the case, I'd have 2 of my ribs removed and suck on those all day. You know what? Time to refill. So that's the other push. We have lab-grown meat and bugs. Canada was doing a big push on the bugs for some reason. Fucking Trudeau was all in on the bugs. You know what? I keep telling people, I mean, really again, you tell me that lizard people run the world. Makes as much sense as anything. And I really think that we're just getting ready to be harvested at any given moment. And they're just trying to change our diet to something that better suits them, you know? Hey, listen, if all we're doing is feeding our livestock fucking corn all day, and we're getting fat because they're getting fat eating that, I mean, the lizard people elite don't want to be fat. So you put us on some kind of high protein, you know, low fat, low, you know, high fiber, whatever gruel. Boom. We're ready. We're high quality. Maybe they're just actually going to sell us. Maybe they're going to harvest us and sell us to other races.
So messing with a food supply tends to cause food crises and then famines. You're seeing this in the developing world.
Create a problem and offer the solution. And that's what's going on. Create a food crisis, and now you can offer the solution. Release a crazy virus, not saying names, not saying dates. Hey, now you can offer a solution that's sped through the entire FDA process and, you know, still technically express. Not saying any names, not saying what I'm talking about. All theory and conjecture. Hey, it gets expedited through the process. We know nothing about it. It's safe for everybody to take. Don't listen to VARs. You know what? Create a problem, offer the solution. People become so goddamn desperate and so disheveled they will accept anything. Because, for the most part, the vast majority of us are pretty fucking stupid.
Thanks to climate activism and the war in Ukraine, are normal Dutch citizens who aren't farmers?
Ukraine. That's enough.
Farmers worried about what happens when you shut the farms down?
Absolutely, they understand it. No farmers, no food. And that's why the farmers have blocked these distribution
No farmers, no food. Don't worry, we still have giant bins full of tumor meat.
centers, because within a matter of a couple of hours, we saw that the supermarkets were empty. And ordinary citizens understand this. The problem is that the state doesn't seem to understand this, or it's what they want. And the police have responded in an incredibly violent way. So as you guys have seen now, they have even shot at a 16-year-old.
Saw that video. You can watch it online. Legitimately open fire on a tractor. Open fire on a tractor. People were going balls to the wall, ape shit, through all the major cities a couple of years ago. Legitimately burning buildings down. Like, burning down Wendy's. We went to New York right before they did the... We used to go to New York every year. And then finally I decided, New York smells like pee. And it's not getting any better. So why do I keep spending money here? So at one point, we finally, she really loved going, liked to do it every year. It was still a fun trip. We decided to move out of going around the city and down into like the Soho area. And I was like, wow, this place is really nice. I really like this spot. So we started going there a couple of years. Then COVID hit, or no, I'm sorry. I don't even remember what the fuck came first. But all the riots, the BLM riots and stuff like that happened. And once all that calmed down and quelled, we went back down there for, our usual yearly trip after a couple of years of not going. And we don't go anymore because now Soho smells like pee too, and it's full of junkies. But when we were walking down the street, I mean, we knew the area very well. We knew there used to be stores here, and there were no longer stores. And she made a point to look and go, oh, look, they're renovating the whole area. Look at all the new windows. And I had to explain that that's not renovations. All these windows have legitimately been smashed out.
Year-old boy. These are not things that you should...
Oh, anyway, the point of that whole story was all that shit was going on down there. Not a officer nary to be found. But God forbid some truckers want to go actually peacefully protest in Ottawa. They get trampled by horses. And the farmers want to go and peacefully protest in their capital, and they're getting shot at. Now, here's the big problem with this. You're letting it happen. I mean, I get it. It's tough. Finally, you have to hit a breaking point before you're going to decide enough is enough. But it's better, I think, to cut your fuse in half and start that early. Because if you wait too long, you're just going to let the side that's trying to oppress you put too many chess pieces in place. And I'm not saying go out there and start being nuts and, get your guns and do that. Well, it's the Netherlands, so I don't even know if they really have them like we do. But at some point, just like Canada, look how fast they were shut down because fucking, pedophile Trudeau, and that's a legitimate thing. I mean, you can look it up. I can pull it up right now that there legitimately is a sex assault with a minor case against him that was settled out of court, and then all sides had to sign an NDA. And on top of that, he was technically her high school professor, I think it was. So, that fucking weirdo decided he was just going to shut down funds to everybody. What is going on in these governments where everybody just goes along with it? Like, I don't get it. Like, even the Republicans now, here, it's like, again, we're so close to just having a uniparty, and at what point is it going to be too late?
See in free Western countries, especially not targeted towards peaceful protesters, but it's happening. And not just the Dutch people, everyone around the world, and especially you in America, should be supporting our Dutch farmers because, well, this could be happening to you. It's actually the very reason why I'm wearing this hanger.
I will say the only reason it's probably not happening here yet, I preface, is because we still have a Second Amendment. And they're really working overtime to get rid of that. And the fact that there are so many Riris on top of that trying to push it that are ignoring the rest of it. Like, I don't understand how there are so many people, even in this country, that want to be under the heel. Like, I will never comprehend that. I don't get the fucking... I still am working on this, which side is the right side. That just feel like they want to be under the heel. I mean, is it the fact that you just don't want to try? So if you're forced to... Is it the thing that, like, okay, I don't really want to try and do anything. I'm pretty fucking lazy and stupid. But if I can't achieve anything, and then everybody else is forced not to achieve anything, well, then that's okay. Because at least they're not better than me. That's sort of the logic that I've built. I can't think of any other reason why anybody thinks the things that are going on right now are okay. Or you're just so absent-minded and you have your lips to the teeth of CNN so hard that everything else. You know, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he's a very leftist person, and, you know, I kind of go, I'm more centered, I really am, but he's a very leftist person, and I was telling him a story like, oh, dude, I just read this thing. Oh, did you read that on one of your, like, crazy fringe conspiracy sites? I'm like, no offense. The sites that I'm finding articles on really do seem less fringe than most mainstream media, Fox included.
Chief right now. It's become the symbol of these farmers' resistance, and they're doing it so
Lardinger
courageously,
Brook.
and they have the manpower to do it, so they really deserve your full support.
We should be worried.
I just want to see this turn into something better than what Canada did. I keep saying, if everybody has such a A and B personality here, why doesn't everybody who's super duper 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 like world order, open borders, blah 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 liberal, legitimately just go to Canada like they said they would if Trump won? Like, why don't they just go? I'd be more than apt to trade all of our super liberal left for Canada's center and right. You know, we just do an even swap. You know, we'll work out the property exchanges and things like that. And then I said, I'll even throw in our migrant caravans for free. You can have those. You know, we'll bus them. I think that'd be great. That'd be an awesome trade. I mean, you guys could all live amongst yourselves. But that's the problem, too, is people like this don't want to live amongst themselves. They don't. They need that venom and they need that conflict in their lives because they have nothing else. Like, they really have nothing that makes their life have any meaning aside trying to say, like, a battle that's keeping them from having the perfect world. If only they could have the perfect world, but they're fighting for it. So they can never relax because they're fighting for that perfect equal world that's never going to happen, and even if it did, they would just find something else. There was a fantastic video I just watched. I wish let me see if I can find it. And I think it was I saw it on Gab, and it was two liberals arguing, and one was like your proverbial Karen yelling at this guy who I think was probably Mexican or something, and then he started calling her a white colonist. They're legitimately eating themselves. They're just eating each other, and they don't realize it. So again, even if they created their perfect world, they would, and I'm not saying the other side wouldn't do this too, but even if they created their perfect world, if they don't have something they're fighting for, then their life has no meaning. Find a fucking hobby. It's really not that hard. Like, just go find any interest. Guess what? You try an interest, and if it doesn't work out right away, you move to another one. You know, not everybody needs your help. Let me see something. I don't even know if I can find it. Oh, it was so good too. That was the thing. I'm not gonna find it. I'll post it when I do find it. So again, all the liberal left, you could take Twitter and Facebook with you. We don't need it. You know, you can even take YouTube. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Bring it along with you. We don't want it. So this is my open trade. This is Shark Tank. This is my Shark Tank. You know, I'm going to give you 20% of my company. So we're going to give you all our liberal left, Facebook, Twitter, pretty much all social media. You can pretty much have all our mainstream social media, and news if you like it. Not a deal breaker. And we'll throw in our migrant caravans. All we want is your center and the left. Give us your farmers, your tradesmen, even your like professionals that oh, it's driving me berserk. Lean towards that way. Oh, center left? No, that was wrong. No, double back. I said center left. Center right. Give us all your center and right. Because most of the extreme right will probably sort of meld into the center after a little while when they don't feel that head bunt against the extreme left. So, and you know, I'll give you a day or two to think it over, and then you get back to us. You know, it gets better, and then it gets perfumey and medicine-y again. So, the title of this, Fuck Ukraine. And that was more of like a shock title to begin with, but it's legitimate. Like, fuck Ukraine. You know, we have to listen to the left fucking say that, you know, this is Putin's price hike and Putin's tax and Putin's gas tax and blah, 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 and all these things. And that, you know, we're paying high at the pump to support Ukraine. Don't care. I don't give a shit. And 90% of us, again, like that, I'm not the one who, like everybody else says, 90% of us 2 years ago couldn't point out Ukraine on a map. Fucking 90% of us probably couldn't point out fucking Russia on a map if they weren't labeled. But we don't care. Most of us don't give a shit about Ukraine. I don't. You know, everybody really needs to go back and listen to the old show. I made a clip of it where it was Doomer's Truth on Ukraine because he lived there. His, excuse me, his wife was from there, and he explained this whole situation. What was ironic too was no, I think even in there he did remember it. And then in 2014, which I actually have in here right there, that a lot of people forget was Obama and Biden caused the coup in Ukraine in 2014 when there was actually what you would have considered a more right-wing, not pro-Russian, but more like Russian sympathizer. And they used that label like he was a Putin lackey. And that's not what that means. Because if you go back and watch the Doomer's Truth on Ukraine, which I'll, you know, maybe I'll post it in the comments, not in the comments, in the, the comment section of this or the description to that video. He explains it. Like half of Ukraine is technically Russian. Like they consider themselves Russian, they grew up Russian, they speak Russian, everything like that. It was that kind of Russian sympathizer. The fact that he understood half of his country was actually Russian. But the bratty leftist portion didn't like that side. And they didn't want to be, part of it. They didn't want them part of their society, blah, blah, blah. They wanted them out. And actually, when that happened, the article here, I think even says it. That caused millions of Ukrainian refugees to flee into Russia after that coup. Because there is a ton of people there who still consider themselves Russian. So in the grand scheme, the whole reason it happened was because that whole half of Ukraine was asking him to come in and help them. Just watch it. Go back and watch the Doomer's Truth on Ukraine clip that I pieced out. It'll explain a lot of it. But in the grand scheme of things, we're sucked into this bullshit. And I think, personally, a lot of it is because there's a lot of corruption in there. I don't know enough about Zelensky to actually say anything, whether he's part of it or just kind of, complying puppet or forced. But anyway, I think there's a lot of corruption there. Ukraine is basically just one giant money laundering scheme for a lot of our elite and our government. And if that falls and any of that starts coming out, then it's going to be like the Russian hoax all over again, where all the mainstream news is going to be working triple time to try and fling off all these headlines that are coming out about, like, oh, this politician, these people, these elites have all these holdings and these dealings in the Ukraine that they're funneling in, and blah 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 blah. And granted, again, 90% of the fucking people, like, cared more about LGBT stuff than the fact that, like, Epstein and Maxwell were basically kidnapping and trafficking young women. So, where most of our priorities lie anyway, I don't know. I don't know if we would be. They could literally say that, Hunter and, Joe Biden were running a legitimate, trafficking ring through Ukraine of young women. There could be proof, there could be photos. They could legitimately be high-fiving each other in a brothel of, forced prostitution, and most of the mainstream media and Jean Deere would be, dismissing it as if it was propaganda. It's insane, the reality that we accept now. How long have I been going? Oh, it's over here. Oops. Doesn't say. Where's my... Oh, wow, 42 minutes. You know what? Is she coming down? Sorry. Technicality break. So anyway, going back to the main topic is, the Netherlands and the farmers, and hoping that this turns out a lot better than the Canadian truckers. I hope that they don't give in. I hope that this causes a lot of people to sort of wake up to what's going on and realize where they should be putting their attentions and efforts. I gotta find something really quick. It's probably going to be the top article. Oh, maybe not. Oh, you go shirtless. Justice Long didn't wear a shirt with political message. I don't know. No, that's not what I wanted. So anyway. I can't cancel Coulter. Whatever. Oh, excuse me. Goddamn Chinese food never sits well with me. This was another thing. I actually wanted her to be down here for this. So, we were just in this area. Just in DC. It was my first time there. I gotta say, it was nice. I was pretty impressed with it. Everything from where we stayed, which is actually where I got these slippers I'm wearing right now. Everything from where we stayed, which was on 9th? I don't remember how the streets go. All the way down to like the whole Capitol area and everything along those lines where the monuments and the statues and memorials and stuff are was impeccable. Pretty mesmerizing to see. Super clean. I ran into one police officer when I was going to get coffee one morning and actually talked to her, and I forgot her. No, two police officers actually the whole time. she was a regular cop, and then we started talking because she ended up going to Starbucks too. So we were talking the whole walk down, and I was telling her how, I was really surprised. You're the first cop I saw. I thought you'd be all over the place, and she had said, "Oh no, we are." And then she said, there's actually a lot of undercover FBI police there too, which sort of made me think back to a certain incident on a certain date. Wink, wink, wink. Super nice, super very nice. We had a good conversation walking down there, and I was actually going to buy her coffee that morning, but then she started ordering like a bunch of other crap for breakfast, and I was like, I'm going to tap out of here. After the third or fourth item, I was like, you're on your own here. So, but the second officer I met was something called Special Police, which I actually had talked to him when I was in a Walgreens. So while we were down there, she wanted to check out Chinatown, which was legitimately one street in the other direction of where we were staying. And let's just say it was a completely different world when you went that direction. Pretty much nothing but junkies, loud people, pretty much New York smells, and just kind of like run down bodega, restaurant shops. There were a couple nice places. I mean, it was an interesting place to walk around once you got through the patchwork scents that were everywhere. I will say at one point we did see a woman ask us for change. She asked us for change, and then we did see her get angry that we did not give her change, and she walked over to the corner and dropped a deuce right in the sidewalk. I don't know if she thought she was being private. Then another point, I swear, I think some guy was cleaning up his own vomit. I don't know if he thought he was actually doing a service. And the coup d'etat of the night was as we were walking out in the middle of a very busy street. There was a gentleman that seemed high off his gourd with his pants around his ankles, hopping around and yelling something and pulling wheelies on the back of one of those giant flip lid garbage cans that the cities come pick up. Now, granted, he may not have realized in his condition that it was just a garbage can, because he seemed to believe that it was a luxury vehicle of some sort. And you know what? Good for him if that was the case. But those were the sights on the other side. And actually, when we talked to one of our Uber drivers, he had told us, because we had said how clean it was there, we were so surprised. And he said, oh, no, this is just this area. If you go out to the other surrounding areas, so it's very, very bad. So I guess that just, I would still recommend everybody go and check out the main capital area. It's very nice. The metro system they have is very, very clean and nice. And I mean, I just kind of feel comfortable everywhere, so I wasn't really super worried. And we were just taking in those sights. We got to see a little bit of both worlds. So anyway, but the reason to get to that was the pro-abortion protest mob forces Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh, to leave the D.C. restaurant Morton Steakhouse. First off, did not know there was a Morton Steakhouse anywhere there. We would have been there in a heartbeat. Love me some Mortons. Secondly, I guess the article, it's up there on Fructose. The article stated that one of the cooks must have been pro-choice, which again, I'm pro-choice. Hey, I'm a pro-choice guy. Whatever. I don't have to live with your fucking shitty decisions. I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to have those repercussions. The same reason why I believe in fiscal conservativity. Hey, we all have to live with our decisions. We have to live with our decisions, our actions, and the repercussions that come out of them. All right? What happened here is not the repercussion of a decision. It was basically a whole bunch of pissing at whiny little bitches deciding that we don't like something, and like anything else, because we obviously don't have to work that day for whatever reason, we're going to go there and protest. I don't even think it's protesting anymore. Protesting is going out somewhere and legitimately congregating to send a message of something you truly believe in. These fucking people don't believe in anything. They don't. They're just pissant little whiny babies stuck in perpetual puberty and angry at the world that nobody is coddling them. They have the proverbial, like I've said it before when me and Doomer used to do the show, I never asked to be born attitude. Then kill yourself. Don't care. Nobody's going to miss you. All right? Chances are your family doesn't like you, and it's pretty obvious you don't have any friends. So just end it. If it's really that bad, end it. Hey, you're fine with abortion, so I guess you kind of don't believe that life really matters. What is yours? You're not that important. You're not curing cancer. You're not doing anything. You obviously have all this time to go to Morton's Steakhouse and protest Brett Kavanaugh for some reason. So I can't say that you're solving any kind of real crises in the world. You're definitely not helping Netherlands farmers. So they ended up going there, and poor man, the cook ended up, I guess, I don't know, going on some fucking Reddit or Twitter bullshit and then putting out the, hey, he's here right now. And they ended up going there and making a big old scene, and he had to get like escorted by security out the back door. How fucking dumb is that? And here's the thing. If I was there, I'd like to think, I'm going to preface it with that. I really kind of wanted her opinion on how she knows how my attitude is. And if she thinks I would have or not, I would have taken her opinion on it with, pure honesty of whether I would have got up and said something. Because in the grand scheme of things, now let's stretch this out into another realm too, which I'll get to, I guess, at the end, which will make more of a sense. But I would have stood up and then went out there and probably thrown my baked potato at somebody for one, which would have angered me because I would have wasted my baked potato. But secondly, I would have actually stood up for him and probably first off announced to everybody that I am pro-choice, but you are ruining my meal. And I work very hard to pay for my Mortons, and the fact that you are ruining my meal to come here and protest on something you really don't know or care anything about is irritating beyond the comprehension of any human brain. Like, it is cosmic in the level of comprehension that you could ever understand. To know the level of aggravation at that point that I would be in would, if you were to put it in a physical sense, like Cthulhu, it would drive you to madness just at the sight. Because you're being petulant children at that point. That's all you are. Again, there's not a national ban. It goes to the states, It's just that easy. Enough companies have come out and said, like, oh, we'll support you. Like, it really says something when a company is like, yeah, we'll give you like $4,000 to go, drop your fetus in the toilet. By the way, you're doing that Friday. We'll see you Monday. Because that's legitimately what it's about. They don't give a shit. Like, they don't care about you. They don't care. They care as much about the social advocation of what you're all whining about as much as you really do. It's nothing. It's just a look at me. That's all it is. So get it out of your head that, like, your job, Disney, whatever, is sending you somewhere to get your abortion because they care about your health and your social well-being or your mental well-being and things. They don't. They want you to get your abortion on a Friday, get your fucking ass to work on a Monday. That's all it is. Because they know that if you end up going through carrying the baby and then getting maternity leave, that $14,000 turns into like 40 really fucking fast. Again, don't give a shit. Hey man, I hit my 40s. Everybody knows how babies are made. I never had any. It's really not that difficult, all right? Yeah, shit happens. Condom can break, but then you're usually supposed to be taking your pill or whatever. And in the grand scheme of things, if you're a guy and you don't want it to ever have kids or anything like that, you know what? Go get a vasectomy. Go get your tubes tied. Like, if you really want to make this, I'm having an abortion to show my, to make a social point, go get your tubes tied. Really, really drive that point home and show everybody how you mean it. Go get your tubes tied, because you're not going to procreate anything worthwhile. The grand scheme of things, children usually lean the other direction from what their parents are. They rebel. So you're so far left, they're going to turn so far right. It's just going to be pure madness. Nobody's going to like any of you. So, but the poor man had to leave out the back door. I really feel like I would probably have been one of those people that would have stood up and made a scene, but I wouldn't have just pointed my finger at the whiny bitches outside protesting their nonsense. I would have made it a point to point at everybody inside for also not standing up and saying, all of you get out, we're enjoying our meal, we don't care. All right, you're ruining our evening. And then I would have pulled the old, I am so disgusted by this whole situation, I'm leaving, and would have walked out on my tab. Because, hey man, win for me, right? Morton's is an easy $150 if you don't have drinks, which we usually do. So I would have just, I am so disgusted, I need to leave. And I would have a free steak. Oh, hold on. Is she coming down? Oh, hold on. I think she's coming down. Oh God, I'm itchy. It's almost an hour. I actually kind of like doing these by myself. I figure I'll probably get a little better. If I had more time, then I could actually script it. Work's been like just madness lately, like just utter madness. I honestly, we have a couple of interns, not to unload. That's why I do this. That's why I do. You know what? That's why I do this. That's why I do this thing. Like, it's not anything I wanted to turn into anything. It's therapy. What do I have written right here? Okay, no, never mind. Nope. Back. What do I have written right here? God, really? Wait. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Toxicity, it is therapy. Getting it out is therapeutic. Doesn't mean you have to take offense to it. Believe it or not, this is how I am. Pretty much 24 hours a day. Even at work. And the thing is, people don't get insulted because they know me at this point. And I say this. I say this. I don't know how I can point to the site. Like, this is how I am. But people are mature and they think it's funny, and then they get involved in it, and they unload, and then everybody has a laugh and we feel good afterwards. That's the only reason I do this stuff. I'm not doing this for monetary gain. For all I know, even on Rumble, like, I have an account. I don't know what gets in and out of there. It's for fun. All of it's for fun. The thing is, I really wish this would take off more. I really find it strange. I have like 3 different captchas and spam bots things set up, so that way when you make an account. So I cannot think. Let's just say, even if just the 5.7 was legitimate, that's pretty fucking good. I mean, there's a lot of hits that kill. I mean, like 1,500. There was one that, what? I think it's because I didn't. It's because of the way my browser caches it all. The thing that would be the best would be seeing people start to use it, because I just know it would irritate other people. Like, it would just be funny. Like, that's it. It's all about being funny. Oh, I think you heard footsteps. Ooh. Maybe I'll just play a song for a minute. I don't know if anybody's listening. I actually haven't even checked. Oh, just one watching. Well, that's on the front end. You know what? Let's do this for a minute. Play one of our songs. Me and Doomer. Oops. It would help if I could spell. Let's see if she comes down. If anybody feels so inclined, look us up, Buff Danny on SoundCloud. Please don't take any of our stuff serious. Maybe some stuff has meaning, maybe it doesn't. For the most part, probably doesn't. It's just how we are. I think we're gonna play the song that was. We wrote this song 4 fucking years ago. 4 years ago. And it seems so like appropriate for the times now. I mean, but then again, you give 100 monkeys 100 typewriters, I guess, right? Short Sale. And I don't remember why we wrote this. Half these songs that we wrote on here, we literally sorry, I'm not picking my nose. Well, this time. Just trying to adjust my breather. Pretty much most of the songs we wrote on here, we literally got together, wrote, made the music, and then he, for the most part, did most of the production, and we did it all in like 2 hours. And we like keeping them short. But this was actually our theme song out when me and him were doing it, because it would play. So if you ever see the Rumble link, it opens up with this song. So we'll just play this until she gets down here.
Puberty, but it. Oh. Twist your mind inside out. They'll find out more realities. Got them. Learn our history. Feel like it's all retained. Should I trust my memory? In the Google age. No explanation.
Who the fuck cuts himself on a fucking liquor cap?
If they can burn it down, they'll twist your mind inside out. They'll find up our realities. Got them.
Kind of thought she'd be down here already. Maybe every show or two I'll come on here and play one of these songs. I think that would be kind of fun. She wants to call in. I guess I'll put her on speaker and we'll hope it works. Hello? Oh, hold on. Wait, what's going on here? You there?
Good evening.
Good evening.
What are you doing? Why didn't you want to come down? You
What's
there?
your topic tonight?
I told you I wanted to talk about the farmer thing, but then I wanted your opinion on a story that just came out today because
Am I on live?
yeah.
You should tell your caller that.
Well, you knew you were. We were just texting, dude.
You should always tell your caller that they're on live.
Oh, yeah, but we were just texting.
Okay, so what's the headline?
Well, I was talking about the farmer thing. I thought you were going to come down.
We're still on live and you're hashing this out on national internet.
National internet? Is that a thing? on national, I am hashing this out on the World Wide Webs. What are you doing? I hear you stomping around up there.
I'm doing your laundry.
No, you're not. Just come down here.
No. I can't indulge your audience with my presence.
Why not? Well, I'd hate to break it to you, but I haven't been watching it too much.
You what?
I said I haven't been watching it too much, but I can't say there was much of an audience tonight.
Alright, button it up. When you're done, I'll come down.
Well, no, I wanted your opinion on something. So, one of the stories was, and I thought it was only interesting for the most part because we were just there. And Brett Kavanaugh. Oh, first off, were we unaware that there was a Morton Steakhouse in D.C.?
There's a Morgan Steakhouse?
There is a Morton Steakhouse in D.C. that we did not know about.
Okay. Are you sure it's even open?
Well, it has to be open because the story says I can hear myself echoing for some reason on your speakerphone.
Because you're loud.
No, I'm not that loud. So it was Brett Kavanaugh. Do you have me on speaker?
Maybe.
Wait, no, hold on. Are you listening to me? You don't have it playing on your tablet or anything.
No, I have you on my phone right now.
On speaker?
Yes.
Can you turn off speaker for a minute?
Sure. Because you were polite, sure.
Oh, because I was playing. Okay. See, now I don't hear myself echoing.
Okay, what can I do for you?
What do you mean? You put me back on speaker, didn't you? You put me the fuck back on speaker.
Oh, wait, alright.
So, Brett Kavanaugh was apparently eating at said Morton Steakhouse.
When?
I don't know. It doesn't really give a date, but I assume it just happened. Oh, I guess it's July 6th is when it happened. Holy shit, no, we weren't there.
We were there 2 days after, 2 days before that.
Before. So, he was...
July 6th was Wednesday. We came home on Monday.
Yes. So, he was eating at the Morton Steak... He was eating at the Morton Steakhouse. I really have to emphasize the. At the Morton Steakhouse. And I guess one of the cooks who is not a fan, we'll say, sent out some kind of like mass alert to his, whatever crony group he's involved in that Kavanaugh was eating there. So a whole bunch of pro-abortion, pro-choice people showed up and protested outside the Morton Steakhouse and forced him to sneak out the back door.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Isn't it horrible? So, here's my thing. If we...
Why didn't we go to Morton's?
Well, no, that was the first thing I talked about. Was yes, I was thoroughly. I'm going to put that one on you because usually you're on top of all that stuff.
Oh, I dropped said ball.
Oh, you dropped the ball. Morton's is going to have a word with you. So, but secondly, if we were there, now I'm gonna lead this into, because I feel like I know what your preliminary answer would be to my question, and then when I finalize this with the ending of the sort of pseudo story I created, I think then you might change your tune. So
I don't care what your beliefs are. If you're having a meal, whether you're the right or the left, if you're having a meal, if you're having...
you should get to enjoy your meal.
Pardon?
You should get to enjoy your meal.
You should fully get to enjoy your meal without any sort of demonstration. That's selfish.
Yes. You know what? And ironically, I don't understand how the two of us, me and you, could have such identical opinions separately, but for some reason, if we're in the same room, they just don't mesh up. Because legitimately, if you go back and listen to what I just finished talking about, that is exactly what I said. Like,
Really?
the audacity that these people would show up and ruin a Morton's meal, right?
Well, first of all, it's a Morton's meal.
Yeah,
That's
it's
like-
Morton's. Like, you don't show up to Morton's unless you're having Morton's. So, my thing was, first off, if he was there and we were there and then this happened, do you think I would have said anything? Like, do you think I would have do you think the possibility that I would have made a scene on his behalf to the protesters?
Yes, you're an idiot.
Okay, so all right, that one threw me for kind of a loop. That was out of left field. I honestly didn't think that you thought I would do it.
How long have I known you?
So my thing
No,
was
answer the question.
too long.
Just
So
answer the
oh, 16 luxurious years.
question. I'm hanging up. You're off a year.
No, a year has just been erased from my mind. So, I honestly thought you were going to say no, that I was full of shit and all talk. So, I thought that was going to be your first answer. And then, the way I had ended it talking before you called was I had said that at the end of my demonstration, because both, to be honest, I would, of course, be appalled by the protesters, but then be a little aggravated that the other diners would not be sticking up for themselves and for this person who's just trying to enjoy a meal, like you said, regardless of what your political stances are. And then I would have looked at you and said, pack up your stuff, we're leaving, and we would have walked out on the tab. And it's just silence. Hello? Oh. What the hell? Oh, we got hung up on. God damn it, woman. I bet your phone died. For God's sakes.
17. The number was 17.
Okay, yeah, I know. But you didn't even listen to the end.
17 fucking years.
Yeah, okay. So I don't even know where you hung up on. I literally kept talking.
That's your everyday, like...
Yeah, but I was waiting. For some reason, my phone was still, like, giving me static, like you were on the line. So I sat there like a retard waiting for your response.
Welcome to my world.
Yes, yes, that's it. So, but I mean, I don't even know how far you heard.
When you got the number wrong, I hung up.
I don't know how far in that was.
Oh, That was pretty much the
But
beginning.
so no, what I was saying was that I honestly thought that you would have, after I had given you the option that I would have stood up and said something and made a scene, I would have thought you would have said, no, you're full of shit. You're all talk.
When we were there, we saw protesters. While you didn't want to admit it, they were there.
I don't remember seeing any
Let
real
me
protesters.
finish. If you're not going to let me finish.
Go ahead, finish. I thought you were done.
No. There were protesters outside the Capitol when we approached the Capitol. That was, it was a fairly small group, but they still had their signs and they still were lined up, and you had the microphone and you had their t-shirts and their, posse.
Okay.
That was okay. They're at the Capitol. They're in front of the Capitol. They're outside. They're being respectful. But they cross the line when they go inside a restaurant to chase some judge down.
Honestly, I don't know if they went inside. I don't know if the article said that or if they were just outside, like at the door. Which still doesn't change it.
Well, I'm so pissed that we didn't go to Morgan.
Well, yeah, we ended up getting fucking garbage shit ramen in crackhead Chinatown instead.
Oh my god.
I talked about fucking Mr. Pants around his ankles with his goddamn garbage can Tesla. Fucking making vroom vroom noises behind a garbage can in the middle of a busy road.
He was hopping around like the yellow line.
Oh yeah, he was having a blast. He probably thought he had 4 bitches in the back of that garbage can. But
so yeah, apparently, he didn't leave in the middle of his meal. He actually finished his meal as I know the story.
okay.
He finished his entire meal, and it was there's even like a question as to whether or not he heard or saw the protesters. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I only know this one article. I literally just saw the article like a couple hours ago.
I think Morton's the one that's making the story out of it.
Yeah, but
Kavanaugh.
then why would they have bothered to send him out the back? Why would his security have taken him out the back if he didn't even know they were there?
They told him they were there. Morton's had to tell him, look, this is what's going on, so we're going to ask you to go through the back.
Well, hopefully they comped his meal. Well, no, because that was the thing that I said. Like, I really thought you were going to say, you wouldn't have done shit. You're all talk.
He had his meal. He even
But
had dessert.
I said, okay, were you going to let me finish? Were you going to let me finish, woman?
He had a meal. He had his dessert. They said, hey, Mr. Kavanaugh, Judge, Your Honor, we're going to take you through the back because...
So you think nobody in the restaurant knew what was going on? They were just whining and dining, sipping champagne with their pinkies up, unaware that the fucking 99% were out front, screaming and bitching about not being able to poop their babies out. Which, technically in Washington, they can, because I'm pretty sure that that's not one of the states that's going to ban it. Yeah?
I'm just saying, I think Morton's was just protecting him because...
Well, no, that's very possible.
No, well, hold on. Let me finish. You can't ask me for my opinion and then cut me off. I don't know if you were aware of this, but Kavanaugh's life was threatened about a month ago. Did you know
Yes,
that?
I know. Somebody went to his house to try and, shoot him.
Right.
Yeah, I'm very well aware of all this, man. So...
Okay. So,
So so in the grand scheme of things, you think if we were there, I would have made an ass of myself.
I mean, you want to hear that again? You're pretty self-absorbed.
No. There was a point. There was an end to the story that I was trying to get to that you repeatedly would not let me get to. So can I finish it up and then I'll shut this off?
Sure.
What I was saying was originally I thought you were going to say something. Well, which I did actually explain because I thought you were still on the line and you had actually hung up.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I know, it really is. So shame on me. So, but I had said I thought that you were really going to say that I wouldn't have it. I was all talk until I had stood up, made my peace with the protesters, and then looked at you and said, "Pack up your things, we're leaving," and then skipped out on the check.
All right, you just took it to the most ridiculous place, which never would have happened.
Wait, so hold on. You give me enough credit.
You're so pathetic.
Wait, what level of that is pathetic? So you literally, hold on. You literally think I would have stood up and made a scene and then still stuck around to pay the check? Like I would have looked out the window at all the assholes and went, "You people disgust me," and then went, "Garçon," and made the little check symbol in the air.
The Grammy goes to evil Nick.
How am I pathetic if I...
You're so pathetic.
How is that pathetic? You're legitimately saying I would have stood there with my arms folded until the...
5 minutes to turn that documentary on. I'll be downstairs. Goodbye.
Oh, you know what? That's a good thing. I'm going to show everybody this documentary that I want
Goodbye.
to watch. This is what I deal with. Oh, so like she said, there's a documentary. Oh, fuck. I'll just put it in the description because I don't remember what it's called. And I'll let everybody... It's old. It's very old. It's about Bohemian Grove and a bunch of other weird crap. But it was old. It's very old, from like the 80s or the 90s or something like that. So it's going to be in like, regular square format. Very VHS grainy. I watched about 10 minutes of it. And I guess it was created and produced by the Discovery Channel. And when, whoever these people were found out that it was going to be released, they basically used their people and their contacts to get in touch with Discovery, put the kibosh on it, buy all the copies, get rid of them, reimburse them for filming and everything. And somehow I guess one copy got out there, and the documentary follows actually an ex-senator who explains all this stuff. So I'll put it up in the description, the link, because it's also on YouTube, and hopefully it doesn't get, scrubbed. So everybody have a good week. I'm going to try and think of a time to do this more regularly. Again, the next time I do this, I might be with my one of my buddies doing this that I used to do one with a long time ago. So have a good week.